Hello and welcome back to Mass Effect 3.2. This is my campaign and proposal to BioWare to make an alternate version of Mass Effect 3, entitled Mass Effect 3.2, that would fix the flaws in the original game, with my ideas outlined in this document. My previous videos have covered characters from Ashley all the way up to Jacob and James. This video will be focusing on a section of characters alphabetically that I really didn't have many issues with, from Javik through Liara. I'm also going to make a quick edit to Garrus. Garrus was covered in my video about Grunt, and at the time I didn't really have any issues with him, but I would like to make an edit after further research and study into his role. Now, as I didn't have issues with these characters, I expect that this video will probably be much shorter than my previous ones, but I will get back to the characters that I did have issues with Miranda right after Liara, and then the videos will be brought back up to their usual time. So this one's pretty short, just covering some characters alphabetically. So let's get started. Here's my quick edit to Garrus. Perfect, it's fitting he should be on the final mission with Shepard. His character development was also extremely impressive. However, a more drawn-out and emotional romance scene en route to Chrono Station would definitely be a fitting end to Garrus and a female Shepard's relationship. Alright, now to move on to the rest of them. Alright, starting with Javik. No issues here, he's a fun addition for players with access to DLC. That's really all I had to say about him. Kasumi. Her role was fine. Kasumi is one of two exceptions to my belief that squad members should be more than war assets. Being a DLC character, Kasumi had no dialogue options aboard the Normandy and very little character development compared to other characters. Plus, even if her loyalty was gained during Mass Effect 2, her true loyalty is to her profession. She has no reason to put her life in constant risk by joining Shepard's squad or performing other more major roles in Mass Effect 3. Finally, being a DLC character, some players did not have access to her in Mass Effect 2, so it would be unfair to them for her to have a large role in the story. Legion. Legion's role was touching. Though maybe not quite as emotional as Morden's death, it was still a powerful, emotional sacrifice for his people, as well as, depending on player choice, for the Quarians. No issues. Finally, Liara. Perfect. It's fitting she should be on Shepard's squad, and her role as the Shadow Broker was also satisfying. Alright, so Garrus. I went up and looked through all the romance interactions for all the squad mates in Mass Effect 3, and I realized that some of them weren't exactly fitting, particularly for characters who've been with you since day one. Garrus, and you'll find I also had this issue with Tali. Even though they weren't available as romance options in Mass Effect 1, they've still been with you, and so to have a very brief scene that's just sort of a fade to black, and then granted when they wake up they have a nice conversation, in both cases Tali and Garrus, but still it could be a little bit more fleshed out, a little bit more emotional and tender, because these people have known each other for quite some time and have been through a lot, and so to have just a fade to black scene is rather lazy, and it should be fixed. So Javik, I didn't have any issues. I actually never played with Javik. I never got the From Ashes DLC, so I don't know every single bit of Javik's story, but I've looked up several videos of Shepard interacting with him or him interacting with other characters, and he seemed fine. Obviously really cynical and pessimistic and rude, but it's an interesting addition to the squad because you don't really have a lot of squad members who are openly disagreeable or openly racist, and some can argue that Ashley is racist, but that's debatable. I won't get into that. But you know, Javik is got its own culture, and from what I've seen, it's really interesting. So I don't really have any problems with it. However, if you did play with Javik and you notice some major issues that you would like to be fixed, let me know in the comment section, and I'll see what I can do. So Kasumi, I know many players were disappointed with Kasumi's role, that she had such a small part, and despite what I said, the only reason it really matters is that some players didn't have access to her in Mass Effect 2, Xbox Live or PlayStation Network or whatever it is. Some players just don't have that, and for her to play a larger role in the story would just be unfair to them, because they would be missing out on a lot if she had a bigger role in the story. And true, even though a lot of players really liked her, she didn't have a lot of character development compared to the other characters. I know you could go to her room and ask her about different objects, but there weren't really any dialogue options where you could pursue not a romance, but just a friendship, a general relationship with her. And so there's really not a lot of loyalty lost when she doesn't join the squad or perform some other major role. So those are my thoughts on Kasumi. As for Legion, as I said, his role was touching. I wasn't quite as touched as I was with Morden's death, but that's probably just due to the fact that we didn't get a ton of time to get to know him in Mass Effect 2. I thought it was perfect. There's really nothing I would change about that. However, and this is something that I'll cover later when I publish my videos about the ending, if the player let the code be uploaded on Rennick, there will be a difference in outcome depending on whether Legion or the Geth VI uploaded the code. And that's all I'm going to say about it right now. I'll get to it later on in this video series. Finally, Liara. I thought her role as the Shadow Broker was fitting. Of course, it's more fitting if the Layer of the Shadow Broker DLC was actually played. But even if it wasn't, it's still quite a fulfilling role. She had a very, very powerful romance with either a male or female shepherd. That was one romance that was really well done, and I didn't have any issue with it. So, like I said, this is a shorter video. I am going to wrap it up here. Next video will focus mostly on Miranda, because I did have some issues with her. But this is it for now. Let me know in the comments section your feedback. If you thought that maybe one of these characters should have had a different role than what I said. Let me know what you thought about my Garrus edit. I want to make sure that that's alright with everyone and people support that. Also, if you notice any errors in the document, either typographical or something that could create a plot hole later on, let me know about that too, and I'll see what I can do to fix it. But we'll see you next time with Miranda, and again, thanks for watching.